Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It is February 5th, about 6:30. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a quorum, but we are missing our vice chair, Kevin Brajoli, who has decided it's more comfortable in Florida this time of year. Unfortunately for him, it's actually been quite cold in Florida, so I'm not sure he's getting a refund, but hopefully he will get some well-deserved time off. We are being recorded by Mr. Day for WCTV, and we also have Mrs. Wixton, who is doing her job recording us and writing playful notes. First on the agenda is public participation. Is there anybody who would like to address the committee? Please, welcome. Take any chair and put yourself in front of a mic and identify yourself, please.
Yes, hi, my name is Adam Pitts. My son Xavier Pitts goes to 6th grade middle school. I would just like to ask, how many of the children in 6th grade are at the 6th grade reading level? I would like to say maybe half, if that's even being fair. I would like to ask, how many of these children know a second language? Maybe 10%, I would like to think. How many of these children can read and write in cursive? None? So my question is, last week I was informed by my son that he was shown a CNN video of ICE, and the teacher put forth his 2 cents condemning ICE and saying that no one should be arrested for simply being in this country. I would just like to ask, if these children aren't at the 6th grade reading level, they can't read or write in cursive, and they don't know a second language, why on earth do we have time in school to teach them to not abide by the law? Anybody want to answer my question?
So the rules of public participation, just so you know, are it's not a conversation, it's not a debate, it's not a discussion. That does not mean that you didn't raise thoughtful questions. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy hearing your questions. But it's not a time for you and me, even though I think I would enjoy it, to have a discussion. However, you're quite fortunate that the principal of your son's school is physically present today, and I'm sure she heard what you had to say. I would encourage you to have a meeting with her, okay, at your mutual conveniences. But I assure you, I heard your questions and I appreciate them.
So I just wanted to raise awareness that they have a class called Current Events where they are being shown CNN videos and being swayed into thinking a certain ideology. And we come from a very poor, we've lived in poverty my entire life, and statistically speaking, when you live in poverty, you have a higher chance of interacting with the law. And if you're interacting with the law, the best thing that you can do is abide by the law. They have a lot of stress, they have a lot of training that makes sure that they go home to see their families at night, and we do not need to teach these kids that are living in poverty to disobey lawful commands. God forbid my son hears this rhetoric and he does not comply with state or federal law, decides he wants to call me, reaches into his pocket, and gets shot. This is unbelievably insane, and I just wanted to bring awareness that this is what's happening in the school.
Again, I appreciate it. You may be low income, but you're not inarticulate. and I appreciate the fact that you're here tonight. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Any good news? Yes.
I don't know if it's good news, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to to say thank you to the building and grounds crews, to the custodial staff that have been working very hard these last couple of weeks to make the schools accessible for the students and the staff. So I really appreciate all the hard work that they've been putting in, so thank you to them.
Amen. Yes. Anybody else? Good news. Not you, Priscilla. You have your own time. Nothing this evening. All good? Okay. Now we can get to you, Priscilla, and welcome. Glad to have you here tonight.
I know, I haven't been here since before the new year, because I
We
missed
missed you.
last meeting. So I figured I'd start with sports. Both the girls and boys basketball teams are having a really promising season. They're both 13-3 right now, having their senior nights next week, and will most likely be on the playoffs. Don't want to jinx anything. Track, boys and girls had their conference meet last weekend. There were many PRs, many placings, and states is the following weekend. For DECA, districts happened at the beginning of January. We had 2 members make it to states, 4 others made the top 10, and then, 2 made it to states competing for what they did at districts, and then we have 17 going in total to states, which is really exciting. We're also
Just a quick clarification. They made it, 2 made it on merit?
Merit, yeah.
And how did the other 15 get to go?
So there are ways you can write papers and presentations. So you're still competing and talking in front of judges. It's just you prepared something separate. So I'm going on school-based enterprise, which me and 2 other officers wrote papers about the school store and the concession stands at basketball. So then we wrote the paper for that and go present about it.
And will you be judged on your presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
We're also partnered with NHS and Key Club and the Culinary Club to go to All-American Assisted Living, and we're going to be cooking with the residents there, so that's really good for community service. We're also planning our auction on March 22nd. We're in the process of getting donations. And then seniors, we're planning our class trip. We're planning senior week, and some have even committed.
So I have a sister who lives in assisted living, and she raves about her food. Okay, I want to know if, when you go to cook at this assisted living place, has chef approved the recipes that you're using?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if the chef there has, but
No, I mean our chef.
our chef. I think we're going to do chocolate covered strawberries and cookies with them around Valentine's Day.
I think
I
that's
think
called
he-
dessert, yes.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, thank you. You all set?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Priscilla besides me?
No,
All good?
thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you.
Okay. Principals reports. Come on up. Welcome, Mrs. Kavicki.
Thank you.
So the first thing the committee should know is that as a result of a conversation with Mr. Palladino, much as I really wanted to grill Mrs. Kavicki about the...
For you. Wow.
She's ready.
That doesn't surprise me. They're not going to talk about class sizes tonight. They're going to talk about class sizes on February 26th? Yes? Okay. So you escaped, but I'm glad you were prepared anyway. And the reason for the change was not only because Scott is missing, and I didn't think it was, in all seriousness, fair to Kim. The budget situation is got that much more difficult as a result of the publication of the cherry sheets specifically what they call House 1, which is the governor's first effort at a budget, which subsequently has to go to the House Budget Committee and then be approved by the House, and then the Senate Finance Committee and approved by the Senate, and the governor gets to sign off, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the beginning of a very long process. But the cherry sheet that came out, was less than $100 per student for Wareham, which is a very small amount. And on top of that, the overall cherry sheet impact on the town, meaning when you combine receipts with assessments, was approximately, round numbers, a negative 500,000 compared to this year. We're talking about next year's budget process. So when you combine that, overall negative 500,000 with the fact that the Chapter 70 was less than $100 more per student, we have a major issue, which Kevin, via Zoom, and myself and Kristen and Matt talked about in the budget subcommittee for the school committee. And we will want to hear, and this will, of course, have been as a result of conversations that your principals have had with Matt between now and then. We want to hear about the implications for the cuts that we almost assuredly will have to make as a result of the state aid, and both specifically as it relates to school, but also as it relates to the town overall. So that was a little longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope I didn't generate any questions before we let the principals do their thing. All good? Yes?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see, we picked on the rookie before. We could pick on Kim because she is so prepared, and now she doesn't have to be quite as prepared. So let's start with the high school.
Thank you. Good evening, school committee. I am presenting the principal's report on behalf of Mr. Palladino at the high school. He regrets that he couldn't be here but had a prior conflict. So starting off with attendance, our student attendance for the month of January ended at 95%, which is up from 92 in December. And our teacher attendance for January ended at 97%, also up from 95 in December. For enrollment numbers, we're looking at 8th grade at 150, 9th grade at 80, 10th grade at 95, 11th grade at 100, 12th grade at 103, and 13th grade at 10. So that's a total of 538. Of that, we have 171 special ed students. Good news, our student of the month for January was Sahiti LaFranchise, grade 12 student, and our Scotty Award recipient was Anaya Rose, grade 11. Miss Cuneo's art students have entered into a partnership with the Lighthouse Animal Shelter in New Bedford, and they have been creating portraits of animals that are currently available for adoption. So we had students that completed 18 hand-drawn portraits. They were each paired with a short description, and the work has been shared on our WHS Facebook and Instagram, so if you follow us there, you may have seen it. And lastly, the portraits are going to be delivered to the shelter and gifted to the animals' adoptive families once they find their forever home. Artists of the month, we had our January Artist of the Month was 8th grade student Noah Deo, and our February Artist of the Month is 12th grade student Antonio Chaves. We have that artwork on display in the school for everyone to see. We had 20 choir students under the direction of Dr. Roth who participated in the Tri-County Music Festival, which was held at Dighton, Rehoboth, January 16th and 17th. That after they performed their pieces, all of their schools combined efforts and formed a big choir where they practiced and performed for the festival. DECA attended Providence Bruins the evening of January 23rd. They did that as a team building event. The Young Adult Program formed a new partnership with Turning Point. So Miss Cannon's class actually goes to Turning Point, Baby Point as well, to organize materials and put baskets together. They already had partnerships with Damien's Food Pantry and Meals on Wheels. Poetry Club. They attended their annual Poetry Slam event. We had 18 students that went to Bourne High School earlier this week. We have a poem prepared, ready for you. Upcoming school events. We have semester 2 classes. Those begin Wednesday, January 28th. And we have term 2 report cards going out to families and students in advisory tomorrow, also sent electronically to families. Honors breakfasts are coming up. We've got those on February 24th and February 27th. We're excited. We had 66 students who made high honor roll and 142 students who made honor roll. So about 200 students being recognized, which is amazing. Student Council is partnering with DECA. They're putting on the Snowball Dance this Saturday night. We had an AP Advanced Placement, Dual Enrollment, Innovative Career Pathways Night. That was Thursday, the 29th of January. And the past 2 weeks have been really consumed with course selection for next year's scheduling. So we had, the school counselors had meetings with all of the grade levels. They went over the process. They got their course selection sheets, which have all been updated with their program of studies that was recently approved, those courses. And they're meeting with teachers. They are going to be inputting all of their course requests on Monday. We have NAEP testing, which is the nation's assessment for educational progress. Our school was selected this year, and we have 42 students participating in grade 8. That's happening February 11th.
How is that, quick question, how are those 42 students selected?
It's a random student generator
Okay,
done outside of our school, they tell us, essentially.
thank you.
Yep. Regarding initiatives to improve learning, heading into the February vacation, we're going to be wrapping up our winter NUIA testing for grades 8 through 10. All students in grades 8 through 10 took that test in both ELA and math. So we're excited to see the data and the progress since the beginning of the year. We did curriculum work. All the staff was engaged in that on the early release day, January 16th. And yesterday was the final day of our formative evaluation meetings for all of our non-professional teacher status staff. You already addressed the class size report, so we'll skip that. And then poem reading. Would you like to hear your poem?
I would not my poem,
Not your poem, your requested poem.
my request, and
Yes.
please extend my appreciation to Scott for remembering.
Yes, for sure. And also, so special thanks to Ms. Texera. She's the Poetry Club advisor. And the student's poem was actually the winner of the Young Writers Contest and performed at the Poetry Slam. So the student's name is Kayleen Cologne, and she is in grade 9. So the title, and hopefully I do this justice, but the title is Earth's Conspicuous Heartbeat. You can't spell earth without heart. We must remember both are always inside of us. The earth provides us with the things we need: love, rain, poetry, and music if you listen closely. I feel my soul inside my body is stretched out like a flower, whimsically blooming in and out in a continuous cycle depending on the weather. The heart that earth gave me is still here, beating and beating, beating and beating. As I grow, she does too.
That's a 9th grader.
That is a 9th grader, yes, a very impressive 9th grader.
That's a wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll look forward to that every time you or Scott comes.
I will let him know.
But
That is
in
great.
all seriousness, please express my, and I suspect everybody on the committee's appreciation, because that's a thought-provoking, very articulate poem, and I'm thrilled we have a poetry club.
Very proud.
All set?
Yes.
Any questions for Mrs. Kavicki? Go ahead, Roger.
I'm going to just ask this anyway. What's the 13th grade?
So those are our students with special needs. They, by law, are able to stay enrolled in the high school beyond their senior year in order to continue to work on developing vocational skills, personal needs skills, but they can stay enrolled past 12th grade.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to hear those triple-digit numbers for class sizes. Do you get a sense that we have hit bottom and we may actually be rising a little from here? Do the demographics at least support the fact that might be happening?
It's tough, I think, to see the trend. I think,
It is tough.
I think our 8th grade last year was, on the smaller side. It's been traditionally small all the way through. So I think we've passed that, and that being an outlier. I don't know that we have passed that enrollment yet. I'm not sure I have data that shows that yet.
And the attendance numbers were great, so
Very excited. Yes.
congratulations to both staff and students.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'll just say, so I heard those numbers this week in a school council meeting at the high school, and the 9th grade number kind of took me back, and Scott said the same thing, that has been a small class going
Traditionally.
through. So I did look up some surrounding towns just to see if it was just Wareham, and the 9th grade at Bourne High School is 57.
Wow.
So it's not just Wareham, so that made me feel a little bit better.
yes, I have a friend for a couple of decades who's the girls' tennis coach at Bourne and a teacher there as well, and they are shrinking. Yeah, those numbers are really small.
So maybe that was just a year, I don't know what year those kids were born, but for whatever reason, yeah.
Yeah, the demographics are, they're like the tide. They just are what they are, and there's not much you can do about them. Okay, pass.
Great. Hi, welcome, thank you. I'm going to speak about PASS and where we are and where we're going to be at the McDuffie Educational Center. I work with Ms. Kavicki. We have a meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock about PASS. She's going to help me with some Power School information. And the high school has been wonderful. It's great communication about students that may be coming into our PASS program. Let me tell you a little bit about our spring semester. We have 9 new students in our spring pass, that one of which is a school choice student, 5 of which are from Wareham High School, and then there's 3 other students who need a course or 2 to graduate, and then I have 1 other student who is just coming back from not being at school, wasn't a Wareham student, but lives in Wareham now. So those are our new students. We just had 8 students in our fall semester complete the PASS program, so they will be graduating with our big graduating class in June, which will be, we hope, 28 students in total graduating in June, which is a high number in our PASS program. It's been wonderful. I began this position in November with my many hats, and I have had such joy working with these high school students and seeing their alternative pathways and creating success and the great classes. We have this wonderful this first financial club that we work with, Mass Hire, and with Miss Kathleen Braley, and they give them $100 to finance and build their portfolio in the spring, and they get to keep it and build their portfolio to raise money and learn how to, hopefully save money. I wish I had had that class in high school. So the teachers are wonderful there. We're thinking outside of the box of creating new courses. And yeah, it's been really great. And I've learned so much. Questions about PASS?
I don't have any questions.
So these 3 or 4 students,
Mm-hmm.
where would they go if we didn't exist to get these few credits in order to graduate?
I don't know, because that's another thing that is declining is night school. There's not many night schools
in the
surrounding. In the community, there's not many night school programs within the community. Wareham is one. We're the only one right around us, and I do have about 3 or 4 counselors I just spoke to 2 weeks ago, last week, inquiring from different districts.
I think you're providing a very valuable service.
And I think that, and I'm going to continue working in I'm new, but I want to continue growing this for our outside areas to make sure that these students have every opportunity to be able to graduate from high school.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Russo.
Oh, I was going to
Oh,
ask a
sorry.
question. Sorry. I know we got the attendance numbers from, we get them from everybody else. I don't know if you have like a rough, if attendance is a little bit different with the PASS program.
No, we have a very strict attendance policy because we run 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, so we expect you there. So you can't be absent more than 3 times I had one student absent tonight. I just did a check
Okay,
out of all of it, so
thank you.
you're welcome.
What's that? Okay.
Right. Good evening, school committee. So for the month of January for Wareham Middle School, student attendance was at 95.01%.
.01?
Yeah, I do it down to the hundredth because I'm tracking this.
That's a level of precision.
And staff attendance was at 94.8% for the month of January. Currently, we have 419 students enrolled at the middle school, and of those 419 students, 122 students are in the special education program. In fifth grade, we have 142 students, sixth grade, 142 students, and in seventh grade, 135 students. Wareham Middle School would like to congratulate our students of the month for January. For fifth grade, it was Wyatt DaCosta, sixth grade, Matthew Martin, and seventh grade, Helena Rue. Term 2 report cards were sent home on Tuesday, February 3rd, and we are going to have our high honors breakfast this Friday next week on February 13th. For term 2, we had 50 students with perfect attendance, 123 students on the AB honor roll, and 86 students earned high honors. So we were very excited about that. Wareham Middle School recently received a Cultural Council grant for the Buzzards Bay Coalition field trip for our grade 5 students. So this is going to cover their field trip, and they will be taking that field trip in June. We have begun our term 3, and fifth graders are engaged in independent writing as they're writing narratives and opinion essays. In Mrs. Smith's fifth grade class, they just completed independently writing an essay on Rosa Parks. Sixth graders are continuing their novel studies in one of 2 books, either Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, or The Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. Students in Mrs. Costa's class were surprised with a virtual meet and greet. They actually got to meet the author, Dusty Bowling, during which they discussed the novel, The Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus, and they were treated to a sneak peek of her upcoming novel. So it was very special. They got one-on-one time with her virtually and got to talk to her about the book. Seventh graders in ELA have just completed their novel study of The Outsiders and are now focusing on poetry and a cross-curricular unit with social studies on the Vietnam War. In math class, our fifth graders are busy mastering multiplication and division of fractions, and our sixth graders are currently developing their skills in solving real-world problems by writing equations that represent constraints and then solving them. It's very difficult. I sat down with a few. So at the same time, our seventh graders are applying properties of operations as strategies to multiply and divide rational numbers. Students at Wareham Middle School have just completed our Winter Nuia assessments, and the student assessment scores have been sent home, so families already have their scores. On Monday, we held a seventh grade assembly to inform students about the Wareham High School course offerings. Mr. Palladino, Ms. Regan came. It was wonderful. Our seventh graders were so excited. They got to hear about the course offerings at Wareham High School and the dual enrollment program. Seventh graders asked many good questions about the course offerings, and next week, on Monday and Tuesday, they will be choosing their course offerings during their Viking block time. I have actually myself have been approached by 3 different students and asked for a letter of recommendation for the dual enrollment program. They're very excited about it.
When does that start? What grade?
8th grade.
Started in 8th? Why didn't I know that? Wow.
So tomorrow is our New England Patriot Spirit Day, and we're encouraging, of course, all of our staff and our students to wear their New England Patriots gear. And our art show is currently taking place through February 28th at the Bluefoot Cafe. This Sunday from 10 to 11, we are going to be holding a special art show reception, and so our student artists will be there at Bluefoot Cafe and be able to explain their works and meet anybody who would like to talk with them. And mark your calendars for March 10th, as our fourth graders are coming from the elementary school to tour the middle school. And the family night is going to be held on May 14th for fourth grade student orientation and families to come in and meet other families that are already at our school and to be able to talk with them and meet students and have tours. Also, everybody's looking forward to just, getting to know our incoming fifth graders. And please save the date. The Wareham Middle School Drama Club will be performing Disney's Little Mermaid at 6 p.m. on both March 11th and 12th, and that is usually a sold-out performance. So you'll want to get your tickets early. And the spring concert will be March 26th, both at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions for Dr. Russo?
This isn't a question, but the dual enrollment Dr. Russo is speaking about is the 8th and 9th grade dual enrollment, not the Bridgewater State dual
Oh.
enrollment.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just to be clear, yeah, the 8th graders aren't going to Bridgewater State. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
shock.
yeah.
So
I knew, yeah.
I appreciate the clarification.
But they're excited. They asked good questions about, what was required, and attendance was discussed, grade point average was discussed, recommendations. And so they have to be academically good standing. And so it was really rich discussion. And Mr. Palladino told them all how excited he was that they're coming to Wareham High School. So.
Okay. Questions for Dr. Russo? Go
I
ahead.
do have a question. So you talked about the 7th graders learning about the course, but do the families, is there a family night in there between the middle school and the high school? Did that already happen?
That's taking place at the high school, as
Yes.
Mr. Palladino shared that with students, that they would be getting an invitation
Okay.
to go and be able to ask even more questions.
And is that before their course selections are due?
I think it's usually in March or so. So they've done some course selection work leading into it.
Okay.
There's still opportunity to obviously make adjustments, though.
Yeah. I just remember hearing Scott say, when they do their surveys, what classes the kids want to see happen, that what they're finding is that kids are asking for classes that are already offered.
Yep.
So it clearly, there's some breakdown in communication somewhere. So it would just be helpful, I would think, for the families to come in before they actually. And I know there's a lot of things to plan, and I know sometimes you plan these things and the people don't come. I get it. But just, that just says somewhere there's a communication breakdown. Yeah. All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger?
No, thank you.
So, first, there is no more avid Patriots fan than Mrs. Flynn. Okay?
This is true.
And we have both decided that this team has given us their all, and we are not going to mourn a loss. We're going to root for a victory, but we are not going to mourn a loss, because it's been a fabulous season. Second comment question. Did I hear you correctly that the students two of the 3 students of the month were males?
That is correct.
I'm thrilled to hear that. What does it take to become the student of the month at the middle school?
You have to have, of course, good behavior, be respectful and responsible. It's a nomination done by the grade level teachers.
Okay, so it's
It's not necessarily,
democratic among the staff.
right, it's not necessarily a straight A student or anything like that. It's
Understood.
just a good student that's doing all the right things.
I love to hear that some males, because we know that females are dominating education in general. So to hear 2 males doing so well is great. And thirdly, because you're here, did you, and I know you may need to do an investigation, and I don't want any names, but the public participant, and I forget his name, Alex something, in any event, raised some troubling issues for me. I don't know how the rest of the committee. Were you surprised at what he had to say?
No, Mr. Sweat, I've heard Mr. Pitt's thoughts, not to me directly, in a different avenue, and I have reached out to him.
So you've met with him already?
I have not met with him.
Oh, you've reached out and have yet to meet with him. Good, I'm glad to hear you're going to do that. How about, do you have any reason to believe that what he said is not true? You do? Okay, so there's some level
I
of...
just believe there's a miscommunication
Right,
here,
so
sir.
there's some level of miscommunication going on.
Right. Part of the 6th grade social studies curriculum involves current events.
That's great. Okay, I think it went beyond the fact that current events is a great thing to have in the classroom. I remember when I was a student. I loved having current events as part of the curriculum. Okay, I will leave it to you to do your thing, and I'm glad to hear you've reached out to him. Mr. Sylvester?
Good evening, everyone.
Good
It's
evening.
good to be back with you to give you some of the latest highlights from Wareham Elementary School. I'll start off with our enrollment, which is pre-K, 82 students. Kindergarten is 179 students. Grade 1, 177 students. Grade 2 was 170. Grade 3 was 153 students. And grade 4 was 176 students. Our January attendance for students was 93%. For staff is 94%. For our new ES testing, they are finishing up with a few of the absences this month. So they'll be working on presenting some data for the following month in March. We have our MCAS planning well underway. We are working on attending trainings and setting up our systems within the building. We plan, as I mentioned last time, grade 3 ELAs in April 1st through 2nd. Grade 3 math is May 6th to 7th. Grade 4 ELA is April 8th through 9th. And grade 4 math is May 13th through the 14th. We also have our student council group. They are helping out with our Super Bowl canned good drive, which is going on this past week. We're collecting as many soup cans as we can for our local food pantries, which we'll be donating at the end of the week. The grade level that brings in the most canned goods will get a photo with our new school mascot, which was kind of unveiled over this past week to our staff and will be unveiled to our students in the upcoming weeks. We might have to have them come visit here.
Did you say a new school mascot?
It is a Viking still.
Okay,
It is a little more elementary version of the Viking.
how appropriate.
And we're going to have Mr. Howie come out, who is the original Viking. He's going to come and introduce our new Viking to the students. So we're working on that, planning that in the next
Okay,
coming
I
weeks.
assume there will be pictures.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are also working on our neon writing project. Our students have been lighting up the world with their writing samples. For the first trimester, they submitted their writing samples that are going into their folders for their student works. Students' work is displayed in the lobby. We had our first 15 students come down and were presented with a certificate and some writing tools, a journal and some fun highlighters and some stickers to cover their journal with. And we talked about the importance of reading and how reading impacts our writing and being able to kind of write things down and highlight things in journals and books as we're reading them that help us to reflect on what made a good reading piece and how that's going to help us to write better. So we talk about that with the kids when they come down and get their certificates. They also I've encouraged all the classrooms to come down and go by the exhibit and just to see the difference and changes in writing from grade level to grade level. I've actually had a couple of teachers come to me and request if we can have more students be posted in there, and I said it's something I think we can have them work towards. So maybe having displays within the classroom, maybe displays outside the classroom, showing students work, and then progressing and working towards the privilege and the honor of being able to be posted in the lobby. So it's starting to get some traction, so we're really excited about that.
Is it printed or cursive?
But it depends on the grade level. Depends on the grade level. Each grade level, yep. Our upper grade levels, 3rd and 4th grade, many of them are in cursive. Let's see. Grade 2, our Miss Michelle Ashburn is collecting Valentines from across the country. Currently, she has 30 cards from 30 different states. We just need 20 more to get to the whole country. So they're looking for people to be sending, if you know anybody from across the country, have them send some postcards to our grade K and 2 special ed teacher, Michelle Ashburn. That would be awesome. We have grade 3, our garden assemblies. The assemblies took place in the Innovation Hub. The students learned about seeds and saving seeds, as well as tasting a little popcorn as it was made fresh from some seeds, and they learned about the process of creating popcorn. And thanks to Mrs. Costa for organizing this program. The students were very engaged. It was a fun activity. I got to sit in there and have some popcorn myself. It was a tasty treat. for sure. Our Olympic-themed lessons are starting to pop up as we're getting into Olympic season here in February. Our tech class, Ms. DiFilippo, has been planning medal counts and using Google Sheets to having students use Google Sheets to graph Olympic data and making digital or paper flags for each of the countries. We are very much appreciative for our custodial staff, led by Kyle Sadler, and our building grounds crew who came in through the storms and the ice and made our walkways very clear, and our parking lots were excellent condition, so we really appreciate that effort. This month is Counselors Month. We kind of stretched it a little bit to Counselors and Behavior Support Staff Appreciation Month. So tomorrow we have a little special surprise for our dedicated counselors and behavior support staff that are always there to support our students and staff during some trying times and on a daily basis. So a big shout out to Ms. Lahane, Ms. Ottaviano, Ms. Lapointe, Ms. Schneider, Ms. Foster, Ms. Rousseau, and Ms. Pavia. We're still working our orchestra. We're looking forward to our orchestra residency visit field trip for grade 3 to the Zeiterion Theater, which is scheduled for March. We just passed this past staff meeting. We had our Have Fun at Work Day. We started off with an ice cream sundae, some games. We had some slinky races down the main staircase, a couple of scooter races around the top floor, and some tricycle races. And we also unveiled our school mascot to the staff, and we had some prizes for staff based around playful learning. Some mini hands were given out to staff. Some giant beach balls were given out to staff, kind of utilized within the classroom along the playful mindset to engage students in some playful activities, kind of engage students in a fun and exciting way in learning. We also had some professional development for staff, where we were developing challenging assessment vocabulary for K-4 to infuse into daily lessons. We've also worked on math and ELA curriculum, developing pacing guidelines for all grade levels. Our PBIS is doing very well. We've had a number of students and staff earn prizes throughout the month. We had in January, we had 30 students recognized for Golden Student Recognition, which was announced over the loudspeaker. They earned an award, they got a golden pencil, they're signed into the golden booklet, and their photo was taken and posted throughout our social media. So congratulations to those 30 students. PTA, upcoming events. February 2nd is our PTA meeting, which we already had, which was very well attended. We have, we just had our school council meeting this past week, which was successful. We had a lot of great conversations about things we're developing within our building. February 11th is our band chorus concert. Put that on your calendars at home. That starts at 6 p.m. Please be prompt. We're looking forward to a great attendance on that event. We also have February 12th, our Hall of Presidents event for second grade, starting at 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Parents are invited. Please post that on your calendars as well. And of course, upcoming February vacation. We're all looking forward to a little break to get home and to maybe get outside a little bit more, because we've been all stuck inside with the snow. And February 23rd, care session starts at second session as well. Up to February 27th, we have our jump rope for heart starting. That will be promoted through our physical education department. And March 12th, we're visiting Wareham Elementary Schools. They're really excited about that. It's always a rite of passage for our fourth grade students. And book fair is March 9th to 13th, and we have a pancake breakfast coming up March 28th. Any questions?
I just have a random one. When did it used to be Hoops for Heart? Oh, sorry. It used to be Hoops for Heart, and it was hoops and jump roping. When did it shift to just jump roping and not basketball? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I've always known it as jump rope for heart.
Yeah,
I
just know because my son won one year when he was a Deaconess, when R.I.P. Deaconess. But I remember it was like a lot of the kids really liked it, and it was a good tie-in to get like a feeder for kids to get interested in JBA and then end up at the schools and kind of,
Yeah.
there's no jump rope team at any of our schools for sports, so I was just curious when that shift happened, so,
I'm not sure.
okay, thank you.
I can look into it, though.
Anybody else? Probably my memory. Did you give us attendance?
I did.
You did, yeah.
It's at the beginning.
I was so enamored of the rest of your report, I forgot it. Okay.
93%.
And staff?
Staff 94.
Okay, thank you.
And I did look into Mississippi, but I don't know if you want to hear the results.
Go for it.
The primary thing that I noticed, the primary difference was the student-teacher ratios are significantly better. So their highest student ratio is 15-1, and their
This
lowest,
is elementary school.
yes, and their lowest is 9-1.
Wow.
Wow.
So I think that's a pretty good indicator as to why their scores are going up.
That's, none of the articles that I read said that. The jury's out on class sizes above elementary schools, but class sizes in elementary schools are really important, and that's kind of a detail that they just left out. But I'm sitting here wondering where they got the money for those class sizes. That's remarkable. Thank you. I appreciate looking into that. I don't know whether I feel better or worse, but,
Me either.
but it certainly adds to the conversation, doesn't it?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Sorry, were you done talking? I didn't
yes,
wanna-
well, for now.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for the very in-depth report. And I'm looking forward to the hall presidents. I've had that on my calendar, yeah.
I was
That's
practicing today.
a really great event. Yes, so thank you.
We good? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You gonna stick around, Dr. Chandler?
Oh, I am, I'm just getting my drink
Ah,
for round two.
has it been tested?
It's coconut,
Coconut? Whoa,
good for hydration. All right,
interesting.
I would like to welcome the twinning committee to come on up. Karen, you can- Tracy, you come up. Be fun. I have a group coming to join us.
So I see.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll go for this one, Karen.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, school committee, for having us tonight. We have prepared having a conversation with you about a possibility of traveling to England in the spring of 2028. And with me this evening, as you can see, is other personnel, not from Wareham Public Schools, but this is the Wareham Twinning Committee. So I'm hoping that we can introduce ourselves as we go. Well, you know Ms. Cote, but, okay. Claire Smith.
Sarah Russo.
Karen Wagner.
Al McKeon?
Welcome all.
So it was when was Marion here?
A year ago, October. Actually, in 2021, I had the privilege to represent the town of Wareham as the town moderator and went over to Wareham, England, and met with the mayor and the council. And out of that visit came a request for me to come back and link our two towns in some way of friendship. Because over in Europe, it is a big thing where they have twinning committees, and they visit back and forth every other year. So I came back to town, stepped back a little bit, and kind of backed up and thought about it. And my friendship that I've made with the people that I have visited and I have met in Wareham overwhelmed me to think about going back to when I was in high school and we had foreign exchange students and the wonderful friendships that we made. And so I put together a twinning committee, and we have been working for the last year. We have formally had the mayor come over a year ago, October. We have officially signed all the documentation. And then in May of this year, a group of us went over and represented our town and signed the paperwork over there and met with their twinning committee. So we have been corresponding back and forth. Matter of fact, I just talked to the former mayor yesterday, the couple that Howie and I stayed with, talked with them last week. So it's an ongoing friendship, working together. We have a group coming from Wareham, England.
Whoa. What did they say? Wareham
No,
or
but
Wareham?
it's Wareham.
So we have a difference.
We do. We do. And so we have a group coming in October from Wareham to visit us here. But while I was there in 21, I had the honor and the privilege, and it was just after COVID, to tour their school. And as I thought about, and as we move forward with our group, it occurred to me, we should connect our students. What a wonderful idea I thought it would be. And so with Al and Denise, who are educators, we've been talking about this and we're moving this forward. And so we would like to put together an educational section of our committee and see how we can move this forward so that our students can connect and make lifelong friendships. When we were over there, just so that you understand our bond, this is our town seal. This is what we presented to their mayor and their council. And my comment to them was, this is our town seal of Wareham. We will be forever bonded with them with their town seal of Wareham. So we will be connected going forward forever. And the way we can do that is to become lifelong friends with their residents and their students.
So many years ago, I went to England and I realized how old everything is over there. So we were incorporated in what, 1730-something?
39.
39?
39.
When were they incorporated?
16 something. And the history over there is absolutely amazing. And Wareham is about 2 hours south of London, but it's next to Bournemouth, Salisbury, Plymouth. So when you go over there, you realize why they came here, because our area is very similar to theirs. When we went to Salisbury, I thought I was in Onset. It was so similar. So there is that connection going back from those days of coming over. Howie, my husband Howie is the history buff. He can tell you what family came over and settled here from Wareham. I don't have that memory to be able to repeat it exactly how it all happened, but they did come over here and settle here. And so we're very excited about connecting the students. There are several schools that the Wareham students go to, and so we're reaching out to a couple of them and seeing what we can do with which school.
So Claire and I, Claire brought Marion, the mayor, to Wareham Elementary School, and I was so taken by Marion, and we just connected, and it was just, it just stuck in my mind. And then when I became the director of Beyond School Time, how I remember that we were very much involved with global ed. And I thought it was an opportunity for me to say, hey, let's bring back some global ed in some capacity. So I reached out to Claire and I said, hey, what would the idea be about taking some students to see Wareham, England? And that's when Claire connected me to Al here. And Al and I had a conversation over the summer. And we spoke about Wareham, England, and what the plan would be. And we thought at that point that it would be best to go through a tour company. And so I investigated through the tours, and we came up with EF Tours. Now, Wareham Public Schools use EF Tours often. I think the high school just presented a couple months ago a tour. And so I reached out to EF Tours, and they created this particular itinerary for us. If you can see the itinerary for 7 days, it would be April 2028. And the reason why, you see Ms. Cote and Dr. Russo and Karen Wagner here, is because we would be taking, in 2028, the current fifth graders, they will be in seventh grade. And Al suggested that that would be a very good age to take it. He also knew the two of they have a very special relationship. Karen happens to be a seventh grade teacher, and
he was my seventh grade teacher.
so we're all connected.
Later, I became his seventh grade teacher in another district prior to my Wareham life.
So we're all connected. And Kelly, who works at EF Tours, we've already spoken several times. She's really amazing. Answers any of my questions. We have another conference tomorrow, pending your approval. She created this itinerary. It is specialized, so we can go visit Wareham. You'll see that we are going to start in London for a few days just to see all of those spectacular, pieces of London that are so important. And then we're going to travel. We're going to go see Stonehenge. And then we're going to travel to Bournemouth. Did I say that correctly? Okay. Which is coastal. And I think that's just so cool. First of all, it's Bourne, and it's Bourne's next to Wareham. I think that the students are going to be blown away. They're like, wow! And it's a coastal region. Claire was just expressing and speaking about the region. The students not only get the cultural connections between our area and do the comparison, but we're going to go visit this Jurassic Beach. That's what, and it's beautiful. Look at Denise. It's all geological, so they'll be learning about some geological formation, seeing something that looks a little different. I haven't been to Jurassic Beach, but you can speak to it, right, Denise?
Well, my husband and I happened to see a PBS special on the extraction of a dinosaur head out of the cliff. And we didn't know that we were going to that museum and actually seeing that archaeological dig in person. And that's where it's nearby Wareham. So it's a wonderful educational opportunity.
So between the socialization of meeting students within that school setting, going to seeing these geological formations, going to Stonehenge, going to see the castles and Windsor Castle, I just think it's going to be an extraordinary opportunity for our students. And we're going to talk about pricing. Right, Mr. Sweat? I'm ready for you. Okay. Students, it's $4,469. We have 2 years to fundraise, and it's going to happen. We're going to be able to, we have a source, too, of some other funding, so I think that we're going to be in very good shape to match the fundraising that they have with a scholarship fund, so we can match what they have. So all of our students who apply and work, and they are in good standing, according to Dr. Russo, will be able to go.
Are you all set?
I am.
Ready for questions?
Sure.
April?
I'm super excited about this. I know you would be. Claire knows how excited I am about this as well. I've talked to Claire over the last year and a half about this same thing. I thought it would be important, and I remember when we had the Office of Beyond School Time, because Ms. Chandler actually got to take my seventh grader to Beijing when he was in seventh grade, and I had the pleasure of hosting 4 different Chinese exchange students through our global ed program. I think it's a great opportunity for the kids in this town, and to build on the connection that Claire has made over in England, and I'm really, really excited about it for everybody. So thank you for all the work you guys did to make that happen.
Any other questions?
Yes.
It is, I agree, it's a really exciting opportunity. I worry about the cost. When we say that high school students are going to fundraise, I feel like it's a little easier for them, just because they're older. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, so tell me I'm wrong. But, yeah, so that's, I worry about that. But you can assure me that I
I'm
shouldn't
going to
worry.
assure you.
Okay.
I have a meeting tomorrow with Kelly. We're going to talk about, you can see it in the page, she has fundraising individuals. We're going to strategize about group fundraising. Ms. Cote has a few ideas. She knows some connections of how to fundraise as well. So we have time. We want to make sure we have a lot of time to collect the funding needed.
Well, I love that, we've heard a lot about this company just from the other trips that Wareham has taken, and the whole online piece, and how easy it is for, to pay monthly, and for others to kick in and be able to do that. So it's 2027.
2028.
28, right, sorry. So 2 years away. So when would someone have to commit to going?
I'm going to
voted
discuss.
yes, yeah.
I don't have that exact. There's some timelines in here, but I don't have that timeline where anybody's going to commit because I'm going to talk to Kelly tomorrow.
Okay. I get it. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. I get
But
it.
but as soon as that happens, then I'll provide those timelines for you.
Okay. And only because it's so far away, I just wonder about like the cancellation. So when you talk about when we used to do global ed, and so the last trip, we had trouble with cancellation and refunds and all that. So what is that policy like now?
There's an this company has an excellent insurance policy, and Kelly said that I do not have to worry about any cancellations. She says they take it by a case-by-case scenario when it comes to like that last week before. But she assured me that the insurance covers it individually and group. So if something happens in England or and they have
Right,
to
right.
change course, that they will do so, and that's of no cost to us.
Okay. And it's no reflection on you. It's so
No,
far away.
no, I asked
So
her
many
already.
things can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Roger, you good? Yeah. So it's wonderful to hear you have a mystery source of additional scholarship money, if I phrase that correctly. But EF specifically, I read, has scholarships itself.
Yes, they do.
Have we ever used their scholarship fund?
I haven't, because I've never gone with their company. I'm not sure about Wareham Public Schools and the high school. I don't know.
Do we have any history on whether that's a real source of money?
And I'll ask Kelly tomorrow.
Because it's great that we've got a secondary source. I'd like a tertiary source. So let's see if they've got some.
Right.
Because the less, yes, we've got 2 years and that's great, but I think Joyce's points are all well taken, as
Yes,
usual.
absolutely.
And I would like to maximize. Is there a maximum number of kids that could theoretically go? Is there a cap?
She didn't give me a cap. She gave me a minimum.
What was the minimum, but out of curiosity?
A minimum was like 6. There's
Oh, okay.
6.
Did you have something?
I was just going to ask, I'm pretty sure, I believe when we had global ed before, and Kristen could probably attest to this, I believe there is a line item in the budget for global ed that has an open, that's still in our account, that is unused, that was line item specifically for global ed, if I remember that correctly.
That's correct. It's not in the budget, but there is a revolving fund for global ed. So we would have to confirm with the town accountant that this particular expenditure would be appropriate from that fund. And there's approximately 60,000 in that fund right now.
Thank you.
So, lastly, Wareham has a wonderful demographic, if I would, at least in my opinion. All you have to do is walk into Mr. Sylvester's waiting room or whatever it is, where you see how many languages on the counter, or below the counter, I should say. It seems like there's about 20 languages listed there. What is the demographics like of Wareham, England?
I will turn to the Wareham Twinning Committee for that question.
we had absolutely no problem communicating, except you had to listen to their accent a little bit. But I mean, they speak English. It's
No,
yeah.
I wasn't getting at language so much, although you're right, I was referring to language. Ethnicities, I mean, is it a very varied population?
Yes, I mean, to some extent, Jeff, yes. It's an amazing little town, and it reminds you so much of home. So it's very comfortable feeling. They're very welcoming. In planning for the group coming over in October, we have a lot of work to do because they rolled out the red carpet for us. And we have to go some to make that happen here.
The reason
So
I ask
it's you
I
know,
get it.
very welcoming. They're all very welcoming.
EF in their brochure had a fairly big emphasis on the fact that these trips can help people see differences in human beings and respect those differences and enjoy those differences. And I would hate to think that Wareham, England is not consistent with that goal that even EF has.
Well, I can tell you that a secret that I discovered when I went over there, there is a small hotel at the end of their main street that's attached to the biggest church. And if you, it is now a very upscale restaurant. And
In England?
in England, in Wareham.
They don't have good food in England.
Oh, let me tell you. When I was there with the mayor and the council, they whispered in my ear that if I looked over the hill and looked at the little cottage with the roof at the bottom of the hill, that's where King Charles used to meet Camilla. That's where Harry used to meet his now wife. So for them to be willing to come to Wareham, that said so much to me.
Got it.
That, you know, and unfortunately, I think when the mayor came over and Hillary, the former mayor, said, I didn't know that, she said we couldn't say anything. So it was a secret. But for them to feel welcome, there's no doubt in my mind, and from how we were treated, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that it's not a great community. And the school, I was so impressed with the school. Howie and I had the privilege of having a tour of the Purebeck School. And to see what the students were learning and to see what they were producing in their art on the walls and the photography and those kinds of things, it just said to me, I need to come back and I need to connect our students because this is a wonderful opportunity for them to see how other students live and what they go through when they go to school and the things that they learn. But the history itself is absolutely amazing. We were out in Morton, and Hillary had said to me, let's take a walk down the street. There's a small church. And we went inside, and she said, look at the stained glass windows. And I said, they're not stained glass. And I said, you're right. The windows were painted by Whistler. And then we went to Sir Lawrence of Arabia's grave on the other side of the church. I mean, just the history alone in the area would be amazing for these students to see. It's just incredibly wonderful experience. I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to go back this spring if we can.
On that note,
Motion to approve.
anticipating my thought, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Oh, 400.
And I will keep you up to date on the conversations I have with Kelly.
That'd be
and
great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And in 2007, we will be putting together another group for people to go over and stay with a host over in Wareham. So plan ahead.
Got it.
Back over. It's amazing.
Trying.
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, you're up. You brought reinforcements?
Yes. I brought good news. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us. I brought with me today Lisa Simpson, who is a nationally certified employment specialist and works with our students at the high school in the primarily the 18 to 22 program. I'm going to have her speak a little bit about her program and how she works with the students at Wareham High School. And also, we're going to have an opportunity to meet a student who's here with us tonight with his family, Alton. You can wait, Alton. And he'll come up and speak in a little while. But I just want to quickly kind of go over special education, just a quick update on our TFM before I turn it over to Lisa.
No acronyms.
Tiered Focus Monitoring, which now has again changed its name. It's a former Coordinated Program Review. Now it's, I don't know, Integrated Learning System, something. I still don't. We just had a webinar on it the other day, so we're all still learning the new acronym for it.
I'm sorry, could I just make a suggestion? Could I just suggest that we have Alton come up first, and that way?
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's
Yes. I'll let it,
it's 7:45. Thank you. Sorry, Jeff.
No worries.
I see him sitting back there, and I just.
He's been very patient.
Yes,
I
he has.
actually had the same thought, but
Yes.
you beat me to it.
Sorry.
No,
I'm going to let Lisa then take it with Alton, and I'll just sit back. You don't want to do that? No, they wanted to hear from you first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is it on? Yeah. So I'm Lisa Simpson, and I, like Melissa said, primarily work with the young adult program in the transition room. But typically, my students start working with me around the 10th grade, where we start doing just some assessment, some preference and interest, strengths and weaknesses. Then they start working in school jobs, usually start in the cafeteria, some team building, things like that. And then a lot of them do like laundry for the culinary program. We work on those fine motor skills with OT, with folding. We do mail, we do, just those in-school jobs. And then as they progress, they start to do some of their out-of-school jobs. So some of their out-of-school jobs right now that we have, internships at Mark Anthony's, Rosebrook, Glen Cove Hotel, Black Dog Warehouse, the Meals on Wheels program. We go to Wareham Elementary School, Damien's Food Pantry, Soft as a Grape, Roby's Propane. We have the kitchen and the cafeteria we have the middle school over here where Alton actually works in the kitchen. And then the cafeteria where I have a student who replaced Alton when Alton got hired there part-time. So we do still have a student that goes there as an internship as well. I maintain a 7D license, as Jeff knows, in order to transport the students back and forth, which is renewed yearly. I do monthly trainings on that in order to keep my license. I am CESP credentialed, which is a national certification, which I have to renew every 3 years. I did just get recertified. And that license should be on its way. I already got the notification that they did accept my recertification, so very happy about that. I have to do 36 hours of professional development in order to maintain that. I usually do monthly meetings with a group from ASPE, which is called Rising Stars. But I also have to go out and kind of find my own professional development because I'm the only vocational specialist in the district, so I don't typically get that at the high school. So I have to kind of uniquely try to go to conferences. I've been to conferences in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, just to try to.
36 hours is not insignificant.
No. I collaborate with speech, OT, classroom teachers, paras, for things that, we notice to try to help the students, like right now, I'm collaborating with Erin Wurlitzer on a student who's having a difficult time vacuuming. So things that some of us take for granted that you just know how to do, right? And so things like that. I write IEP goals, and I am also, I guess, tasked is a good word, with writing vocational assessments on students every 3 years. When we do our 3-year reevals, it's up to me to write vocational assessments, just like all the other related service providers do. And we've partnered with GATRA, which has been a big part of my program, because students like Alton can now get on Dial-A-Ride, and kind of cut that whole transportation piece out for them. It makes it a lot easier for families and for students to get where they need to go. If he's a unique situation where he actually passed driver's education and has his permit, has completed his driving hours, so he will be a licensed driver. But some of my students will not have that opportunity. So partnering with GATRA and during school time, being able to do travel training. They come into our school and talk with our students and explain bus routes and things like that. And then we go out on the buses with the students and do little field trips locally to show them how to use the busing, which has been a really great thing. The credit union being in our school is such a blessing, as I'm sure Alton can attest to as well, because when he got hired, he was able to open up an account right in the school and maintain his money right from there. So that's been a really good thing. We work on budgeting, so students can have a clear picture of money, which I find all students, not just students in the young adult program, really don't know where the money comes from. It just appears, right? So working on a lot of budgeting. And then I also, we do continued support even after students age out at 22. We encourage students to continue to give back to the community. Like, I have a student who aged out last year and continues to go to Damien's Food Pantry where she sees us. And she'll still message me and text me and ask for advice and help and things like that in the community. If they need more job assistance even after they age out, I'm there after hours to help with those kind of things. So I think the students, I think it's a great program. I think it's a really great thing that I know Melissa was, instrumental in really helping put this whole vocational piece together. And then we do have students in our young adult program who are not going to go on to work, just for whatever reason, whether the parents think that they're going to go to a day program, that's a better option for them. Not every student even cares to work after they leave high school. So our department, not me necessarily, I'm a piece of it in the meetings, but we do, we start pretty early, but finding out what the parents want for the students when they leave us, and then we do what's called a 688 referral to the state, and the state decides whether or not DDS is going to take over a mass rehab, and then they get their services from adult programming when they turn 22. But we start that process 2 years before we know that they're going to leave us, whether that's 12th grade or 22. So, because some students opt to not attend our, the 18 to 22 program. So those are some of the bits and pieces. Allison Bell could talk more about that process than I can, because she's the one who refers out. But, and then we have, Alton here to talk some, if you would you like to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about your program?
The young adult program at the high school is an awesome program, and I'm glad that I'm in it. This past year, I've been very blessed being in it. In March of 2025, I got hired as a substitute cafeteria worker at the elementary school, and I loved it. Then in September, I got interviewed for a cafeteria monitor position at the elementary school, and then in October I got hired, and then October 14th was my first day starting, and I'm still working there today, and I love it over there. I love seeing the kids, helping them out, giving them packets, ketchup, mustard packets. And I'm also cleaning on the tables there. And the kids love me there.
I'm not surprised.
They do. They do.
How many students are there like you in the program? Well, I'm sure you're unique, but how many total students are in the young
In the
adult
18 to 22?
Yeah.
10.
10. Excellent, thank you. Questions?
No, I remember being a sub at the middle school when Alton was in some of the classes, and I remember him, and he always stood out as just a really great kid, so I'm glad you're still sticking with it and doing really well. It's nice to see you just a grown-up, just working your way through. I love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You good? Go ahead.
No, I'm not good. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to hold back the tears over here. Well, I've known Alton for a long, long time. Whenever you hear me say I have to talk about my friends on the unified basketball team, it's because Alton has sent me an email asking to make sure I point out how they did. So I've known Alton for a long, long time. He started working at Roby's with me years ago. He and many other students from the high school I had the privilege of working with. And Alton, no matter what job I gave him, he did it, he learned it, he loved it. So I'm really, really happy. Alton, you know how happy I am for you, seeing you working at the elementary school. I happened to be standing in the entryway at the elementary school not too long ago, and the Gatra bus pulled up, and Alton got out to go to work, and it just made me so happy. So I'm really, really happy for you. I know that you're going to do really well. Keep my email address and keep me up to date on what you're doing all the time, okay?
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy for you. I'm really proud of him. He's, yeah.
I really admire your choice to work.
Yeah.
It's a very significant choice you're making, and it's going to benefit you tremendously as you get older.
Thank you.
So he currently does half-days, so he comes in the morning and continues to do internships, by the way, with me. He interns 4 days of the 5 that he's in, and then he spends one morning in the classroom still getting some skills in the classroom, but the other days he has opted to keep up his skills in other sections, like the middle school, which he feels, can I share that?
Yeah,
That
go ahead.
he would hope that he would like to work full-time when he ages out. So he wants to stay in the kitchen and stay viable, so that if a job like that should come up in the kitchen and he can have the opportunity to work full-time, he'd like to take it. So, again, it's very unique that a student not only wants to work half-days while he's in high school, but then also opts to 4 days a week also do unpaid internships while he's in school. So he's definitely someone to be celebrated.
Being reliable is critically important to getting that full-time job, and I think you're on your way.
Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you, too, to the businesses in town, like you mentioned, the Black Dog, and Soft as a Grape, and Roby's has done it for many years. That it's, I just want to mention them and how generous it is of them to open their doors to, and I hope that more will consider it, because it's rewarding for all, and it really teaches them a lot, and especially a shout out to the Salerno family, because they open their doors
Yes,
to
they
these
have,
kids.
for sure.
And that's really, really important, yeah. So.
Oh, and I wanted to mention, now with this great partnership that we have with Damien's, we have, they donated a bunch of pencils today to us, so if anybody needs, any of the schools need pencils, for MCAST, I know, the high school is gonna take a bunch, because they always need pencils for the MCAST, but it's a great thing that they sent us over with boxes of copy paper. It's great, so a lot of good things to share.
It's just a reminder of what a generous community we live in.
We have such a
in so many
generous-
ways.
It's so
Yeah.
great, yes. And we're working on
Okay.
others. We have other.
We let Lisa and Nelson go? Roger, you good?
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you. No,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming here tonight. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alton. Thanks.
You're welcome.
We were fortunate enough to be adding to our young adult program, so we're in the middle of a partnership with Mass Maritime, which we're hoping to start next year, where our students will have an opportunity to go to Mass Maritime, different points during the day to participate and see what that college life looks like. So that will hopefully be.
exciting.
It's very exciting. It's a lot of work. Dr. DeAndrea and I went over with Andrea Cannon from the high school to meet with them over the summer. Yeah. And so they have partnered with us to write a very generous grant that would include transportation for our students as well as activities, and their cadets will be working one-on-one with our students to help them maneuver campus during certain shifts. So it's pretty exciting. And we also have the opportunity through our grant, our special education entitlement grant, the 240. We are training one of our current staff to be a transition specialist, which is something a lot of school districts don't have. And that transition specialist will be finishing up her coursework at the end of this year, and she'll be licensed and ready to start working with this program as well as an additional level of support for our students. So we're excited about that.
Great.
Now we jump into the boring stuff. Ready?
Well, I hope it's boring.
Yeah. So I had gotten a request to kind of give an update on the focused monitoring review progress report. We have to give them every couple of months. Joyce had asked, I provided you with the last copy that is available on the DESI website. The Department of Ed can be not timely on providing reports. So the report that we just put in January is not yet posted, and we have not received feedback on it. When we do, they usually meet with Dr. DeAndrea and I and my team to discuss it and talk about what direction we have to go and other things that we might have to do. So this report is an old report from the September filing that we did, and we did just recently put in another one. I'm hoping that report should be available in March, and then I'll be able to share it with the committee. This last January, we reported back on 4 out of the 7 original areas that we were cited on at the last review. And it is the Access to Full Range of Education program. So it is that inclusion piece there, which we've spoken about before. They feel as though we need to increase our inclusion numbers and move our students who are in our sub-separate programs into inclusion, which is always our goal, but not always realistic or in the best interest of the child if their needs are very severe. So we're working very diligently on that. We've written a corrective action plan for that. We did a root cause analysis on it, and we are working with the team at DESI to try to improve those numbers. And Tracy Cote is actually helping me a lot with that as well. The physical restraint policy, it was approved by the board a couple months ago. That was given to them, so it reflects in here that it was not completed, but it is complete. We had sent them the minutes from the school committee meeting where it was approved and provided the new policy to them, and it is posted up on our website now, so that's completed. The curriculum review, unfortunately, the way that they timed it, we had already booked up all of our professional development, so we're like lagging a little bit behind in this area because now we have to train the staff on this, and we can't do that until next year. So that one's going to kind of be in limbo for a while. And then the institutional self-evaluation is completed, and we're just waiting again for them to get back to us and let us know if they're satisfied with that or if there's more that they would like us to do. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We do begin our new tiered focus monitoring, which is now called something else, this spring with our self-evaluation. So we'll be starting that. We already have our team together. And then all the notices will go out as we have to do with DESI to the community, letting them know when the forums are, the information about it, and inviting them to meetings through the Department of Ed. And that's where we are with that right now.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Questions?
Yes, I have questions. I guess on the timing, so we had a year to do all this, but that didn't happen.
No. And they always give you a year, and it's never a year. Typically, you're doing, they say you have 1 year, and you're continuing on until you roll into your next TFM, and that's not uncommon.
So, I mean, and some things are more complicated than others, right? But having the school committee pass a new policy seems like it could have been done earlier? No?
Well, there was a lot of back and forth. Dr. DeAndrea and I had several meetings with the Department of Ed regarding the policies we had, them not necessarily liking the wording, them wanting us to put policies together. So it was, and again, getting an appointment with our team at DESE is not always the easiest thing, to get the three of us on a Zoom call. So it takes a tremendous amount of time, as anything does with the Department of Ed. So it's not for lack of us working on it, it's for lack of response time from the department a lot of times. But Dr. DeAndrea and I have had multiple conversations for hours about this over the past 2 years.
It can be, they tell you one thing and then you do it and they're like, well, we want you to, and they keep adjusting it and finally getting everyone in the same room and saying, what exactly do you want? How does it,
Okay.
how does it have to be? So it can be challenging because you do sometimes get mixed messages from it.
Okay. So then under, well, it's on the second page. So as far as the percentage of students who are being placed in sub-separate settings. So, I mean, we hear all the time that the percentage in Wareham is very high. They seem to be questioning that. And they seem to be saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, it seems to say that our reply to that is because we are keeping more students in district than maybe other districts are.
I don't think that was necessarily the message that they sent to us. It was more, and it's tough for us to explain. And when I sit with them, I sit with my team. So I sit with Andrea Cannon, who is the assistant principal of special education at the high school, with Catherine Frayne, who is that same role at the middle school, with all of my special ed team chairs who have all that data directly in front of them. And we talk about the students that we service in our community and the intensity of our needs, and how our programming we built is very comprehensive. And, you know, we have more service providers in our district than larger districts have to provide services for our students so that we're able to keep them in their community schools. So that's really an important thing for us. So, you know, we keep arguing, and again, Dr. DeAndrea and I have had this conversation ad nauseum with the Department of Ed about what our role is as educators, and our job is to keep students in the least restrictive environment, and that's different for every child. So what's least restrictive for child A is going to look different than child B, and it's going to look different than child C. And the department has this kind of mantra that everybody should just push them into inclusion, and that's great in theory, and we would love to do that, but for a lot of students, that's not possible. And we collect very good data. We have very good service providers, very good psychologists, counselors who keep track and keep data on all these students, and we review that data. We go over it every year. We consider, can we give these children more opportunities for inclusion? And every time we can, we do. But we do have to consider that child's safety, the amount of support that child needs, whether it's a physical disability, whether it's autism, whether it's an intellectual impairment. There's so many factors to consider, and we need to make sure, first and foremost, that our students are safe and that they're getting everything that they need in an environment that is allowing them to make progress. And that's not always inclusion for a lot of our students.
Well, no, and I understand that, but this says specifically, district leadership indicated that the district strives to ensure that all student needs are met in the district, including those with the most severe disabilities, instead of sending them to out-of-district placements.
Yeah.
So that isn't the difference between inclusion and sub-separate, that's the difference between in-district and out-of-district.
That's just how they word it. But what they're upset with us about, again, because Dr. DeAndrea and I have had this discussion with them several times, and my team, and I would say especially Catherine Frayne and Andrea Cannon, have very strong opinions on this as well. It's easy to stand at the top at DESE and look at us and say, you need to put more kids in inclusion, but we keep inviting them here and saying, please come and spend time in our programs. Please come and see what we do with our students. Please come and see the services that we provide for our students. And then tell us again that you want us to put all these students in inclusion and that you don't feel they should be in sub-separate programs because it's not viable, it's not safe, and it's not providing a learning environment for them that allows them to make effective progress. So it's a battle that we've had for a couple of years with the department. it's a hill I'm willing to die on for this,
Okay.
because I have to think about every individual student and their needs, and not what the Department of Ed thinks we should be doing. And so that's
No, and I
difficult.
understand
Yeah.
that, and I appreciate that. Like, that's, okay.
And
And,
may I, it is true, we do try to keep kids in district.
Right.
I mean, that is accurate, as much as we possibly can.
right, and I understand that and appreciate that, but I've always said, I appreciate that as long as we can service all the students. And
Exactly.
Right, because at some point, and kids move in, like, things happen beyond your control, right? And kids move in, and now all of a sudden you have this larger population, but we don't have the funds to hire more people. So somewhere, there's gonna be a breakdown there, right? And so that's,
Yeah, I think we do, and I appreciate what you're saying. I think we do a really great job, especially Kristen and Matt and I working together on like what we need for our students. We utilize a lot of grants. I do a lot of competitive grant writing for our department. We try to really sit down, Kristen especially sits with me every time we write a grant, to make sure that we're utilizing every dollar, that we're putting it back into the kids as best as we can, and making sure that we're able to fund things that we wouldn't be able to fund if we didn't have that grant money. So it is a delicate chess game, and it is difficult. And you're right, we can't control the amount of students with special needs who are enrolling in our district this past year. Some who come with a residential placement already, some who already come and they're already placed in an out-district placement. And so at that point, there's not a whole lot we can do.
no,
Yeah,
no,
so,
I understand
yeah.
that. All right, let me,
While you look, can I ask a question related
sure.
to that
Go ahead.
question? So when trying to keep the kids in the district and providing the services that they need, depending on obviously like the school level, like elementary, middle, high school, the options of the out-of-district placements, what do you do for those kids that you're suggesting out-of-district, but there's waiting lists because there's age restrictions on those things? How are those kids' services being met in the district to either not have to place them out of the district, or to try to find a more reasonable like method, or like if a child is being put into like inclusion because it's like DESI's recommendation, but as you said, they should be staying more in sub-separate. Is that something that's absolutely happening first? Is there other steps? Because if there's waiting lists for kids to get into these, and like a collaborative program for a certain age period, that's clearly not in the best interest of our kids either. So where's that landing right now?
Yeah, it's never clear cut. It's very individualized with every student. So our programs are able to, I would say, stand up to any of the collaborative programs. The difference is class size for us, and support of trained staff. So I'll just pick one because we belong with Cape Cod Collaborative. So Cape Cod Collaborative has smaller class sizes, has more therapeutic support, has more staff on hand to be able to handle.
What grades does that school?
That, and it depends. So it depends on the disability. So it's very difficult to find programs for students that are grade 4 and under. It's easy in some disability categories. In other disability categories, it's very hard. There's waiting lists at almost every single emotional, so for like an emotional disability, that is our biggest struggle, is trying to find placements when we do get to a point where we feel like we can no longer meet the needs of that child in district and they require a higher level of care, which we do not take lightly at all. We take a lot of data and make sure that we've tried everything, gone through every intervention, put every support that we have available to us in place, and even sometimes reach out to Pilgrim Area Collaborative Educational Services and have them come in and help us, or New England Center for Children, have them come in and help us. So we really try to get everything that we possibly can to that student prior to even considering having them leave their community and their community school. Because when they're young especially, no schools are really close to us. Like the closest school is like 40 minutes. So now you're putting a first grader, a second grader on a bus for 40 minutes each way, and that's not including traffic, and it's not including weather or
So
accidents.
With those waiting lists, what happens to that student?
We maintain that student the best we can in district until a spot comes open. They're entitled to an education, so unless there's some kind of a safety or danger to that student or to the students in that classroom or staff, then we maintain that child to the best of our ability while we put referrals out and wait for a spot.
Thank you.
Joyce,
All
you
right.
want to continue?
Oh, I'm almost done. No, that's okay. That's all right. Under institutional self-evaluation, it says hiring of an engagement specialist. Is that something that we did?
Yes, so we did, and then we didn't have funding for it. So I actually wrote a competitive grant for that, and it lasted, how long?
I think it was through September 30th.
Yeah, so September 30th it ended. So we got the grant, we put a person in place to be able to do some of this work for us.
Was it
and-
like a stipend for someone who's already here, or is it?
Yeah, it was
a
somebody who was
separate-
already
oh,
employed in the
okay.
district. And so they would go out and do this work for us on weekends, at nights, connect with families, phone calls, meetings, connect with other agencies that might be working with that family, provide that family with resources, try to get them re-engaged in school. And then we lost funding for it. So I'm writing another grant to try to get that back. And we're hoping, we're actually doing that with Boys Town in collaboration with them, and we're hoping that we hear back from that grant in March. And that is a significant, it's a $500,000 grant over a period of 5 years. And that would allow us to hire somebody full-time through that grant.
And was that something that they told you we should do, or was that your way of solving that problem that they identified?
They gave us kind of a list of options that they recommended from the department, and we had to do a root cause analysis of our students and where we thought, what the contributing factors that we thought were getting in the way and being roadblocks for us. And we thought that out of all of the things that they offered us, that was the best use of our funding, was to try to get somebody to re-engage those students and the families.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that person successful when they were here?
They were.
Or they were doing that job?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think especially at the high school level, I would say, and we were very saddened that we couldn't get more funding for that. But the funding is what it is.
Sorry, does the lack of funding or the loss of that grant now put you back in violation of what DESI recommended for that program? Since they initially recommended it, you got a grant, got the person, it expired, does that put you back in? Like,
Yeah, I mean, not really. What they'll keep doing is keep telling us to try to get the funding for it. The funny thing with the Department of Ed is they tell you to do all of these things, but then they don't tell you where the money's coming from. And I've asked the question. I said, this is great. We'd love to do this. Do you guys have any funding available? Do you have a grant that we can write? Do you have somebody that you could hook us up with that can show us about a grant or private funding, corporate funding? No, we don't do that. Well, can you come down and help us? Can you come down and see our programs? Can you model for us? Can you maybe give us some advice, some pointers, some things that you think might, no, we don't do that.
Do you ever talk to other people in your position in other districts and do you share ideas with them?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good group in our area that we work with, and then I also belong to the state organization. So we work with Carver, Old Rochester, Bourne, I do Middleborough, we talk to New Bedford a lot. So we try to get the local communities. I try to get communities that share similar demographics to us, and not only size, because I think you can't always go on the size of the district as far as, I think it's more important to look at the demographics of the district. Yes, so we frequently meet, and I meet with the state every 2 weeks with all the directors. We meet 4 times a year all together as a state with all the directors. So we go to all these things to share ideas, and they bring resources in for us. But at the end of the day, it's really back on the district to figure out what we're going to do.
Last question, I promise. So you just went right into what my last question was going to be about the percentages. So if you look at the towns that the state identifies, the DART analysis that they do, Wareham is still, there's only a couple on there that are higher than Wareham. The rest of those are still lower percentages than Wareham. And the surrounding towns are much lower. Like the ones you just said, Middleborough, Fairhaven, Carver, Bourne, they're all low 20s. Fairhaven is in the teens. So are you confident that that number is correct? Like there's...
Which number? So I just kind
Well, I mean, clearly it's a percentage of our students, so that's a correct number, but like the reason behind it.
That's a question that plagues me every year that I've been here. I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is ever since I've been here in Wareham, so this is 9 years now, every year it seems as though the students that we are getting coming in, and I think as we kind of dove into this on the root cause analysis, we've seen a big drop since COVID of school readiness in all areas, not just academically, but even socially, communication-wise, even knowing how to raise your hand or sit in a circle or go in a line. We've seen a huge shift since COVID, but even before COVID, it seems like every year, the disabilities that we're seeing coming into the public school system are more and more severe. And it's a frightening trend. But for me, as a director here, it just means that I have to change up my game constantly to make sure that we have what our kids need, whatever that takes.
So, well, I'm not going to ask any more questions, but so it just seems like, a student, a 5-year-old living in Wareham, sure, that, I understand that, but wouldn't that be the same for a 5-year-old living in Carver or Bourne, or, why is it? But clearly so I'd love to see some of the report, you talk about doing analysis, and just for my own, if you, you're willing to share, I would love to see some of that information.
I could talk to you about
It's
this
just
for
very
hours,
interesting.
but I don't
Well,
think
maybe
anybody
we'll
wants to
make
hear
that
that.
happen. Yes. Not here, but we can make that happen, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sorry.
You're welcome, anytime. So, I could take up a lot of time too, but I usually do, so I'm not going to.
I was just going to say, are you accusing me of taking
I think he was letting you have this one.
Yeah.
But I am sitting here annoyed, not with you, but with the state. I could go into all the reasons I'm annoyed, but this is just one of the reasons. You've got, round numbers, 600 kids, individual kids with individual needs, et cetera. And I just have this image of someone up at the state, at DESE, putting our numbers, not our children,
Exactly.
but our numbers into some formula. And it comes out that, oh, they have too many kids in self-separate and not enough in inclusion, and you're guilty until you prove you're innocent. And I'm offended by that whole process, especially given the economics of this whole situation. So you have my sympathy. I'm going to do everybody a favor and not ask a bunch of more questions, but I'm sitting here annoyed, and I'm sorry you're going through this with a state that can't possibly understand what it's like to deal with 600 individual children who have very individual needs. Enough said. Did you say everything you wanted to say?
Yes, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. Are we good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Melissa.
thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. I think we have Kristen.
Yes, so in your packet, you have the finance reports for the months of December and January. And I'll start with the month of January. The budget is approximately 52% expended, so we are on track. There is, the same usual categories of the budget, the line items that we're watching closely. I'll start with salaries. Overall, there is a surplus in salaries. We will be struggling when we get toward the end of the year with our substitute salary lines. I know that we've discussed that before, so that's something that we need to continue to watch. But overall, the pluses outweigh the minuses in the salary line, so we're okay with that. We talked a lot with Ms. Fay about special ed, and that continues, to be a challenge for us this year. We've had out-of-district placements increase, and along with that comes out-of-district transportation. So we've had a lot of challenges with trying to piece together funds for that. In out-of-district transportation, which is our vendor transportation, so we're not providing the transportation. We have to contract out for it. We provide transportation to special ed out-of-district placements for students who are homeless and are traveling in between their school of origin and their home, and also for foster students who, similarly, will travel between their school of origin and where they are living. So it seems like every month I say, oh, just this, since I reported last, we have 5 new out-of-district transportation requests. 2 special education, 2 McKinney-Vento homeless, and 1 foster. So it's always a challenge to try to procure that, and certainly our transportation director, Marie Ferreira, does a fabulous job doing that. It's difficult and time-consuming, in addition to all her other responsibilities with our in-house transportation service. So once yes.
Excuse me, the foster child, where does their right to get transportation, why is that they have any more rights than any other child? I understand McKinney-Vento and I understand SPED. Where's the foster fit into this?
So it's for foster children, for example, and it's from the legislation. So we are required, if it is a student who is, we'll say, going to Wareham Elementary School and is in foster care and gets placed in a home, at some point in Bourne or Falmouth or Mattapoisett or wherever, New Bedford. So now the student is living in New Bedford, we'll say, but they have the right to remain in school at Wareham Elementary School.
That sounds almost like McKinney-Vento.
Except the student is not, they're considered a foster student, they're not homeless. So the difference is, under McKinney-Vento, there's a cost share between the 2 districts. In the foster student, the school of origin bears the full cost. So there is a mechanism through, I believe it's through the state, through DCF, to get some foster student reimbursement transportation back, but it's very minimal and it's an involved process. So it's not the cost share and then the reimbursement on top of it like McKinney-Vento. So we have some challenges there. So right now we are challenged with finding, right now we have with our transportation, we're looking for, with a deficit that we have to plug for out-of-district transportation of $138,000 for this year. We have a lot more and a lot more costly routes. The good news, I guess you could say, is we have a plan. Some of that is special education students, so we do have some circuit breaker funds from this year that we have to spend remaining, so that will help us. I mentioned we had some salary surpluses, and some of it is in driver salaries, because we'd like to be able to do these routes ourselves, and we have the vehicles, we just don't have the drivers. So if we had drivers, we could do the service probably cheaper than contracting out. So that's the plan for that. We also do have some funds in our transportation revolving, so I'm not concerned at this point that we can't fund it. It's just we are now going into our reserves, our transportation revolving fund and our circuit breaker fund. So that's been a big challenge. Additionally, with out-of-district tuition, we had just in the past couple of weeks 2 new students placed in out-of-district placements that we're going to be required to pay for. Fortunately, we're doing okay with our out-of-district tuitions. We fund those through the budget that the town appropriates every year. We fund it through circuit breaker and the 240 grant. So fortunately, among all of those funds, at this point in time, we do have the funds to absorb those additional placements. So that's the only part of that had we not had that, some of that we could either use to prepay for next year to help next year. So everything that's happening now is we are funding it, but we are also taking away from our flexibility heading into years beyond with those funds that can live beyond June 30th. So I think those are the major categories that I like to review. I did talk about circuit breaker. We, in the circuit breaker that we carried over from last year, we still have approximately $118,000 to spend, and that's what I'm thinking of funding those new out-of-district tuitions with, and also some of the transportation, because we have to expend that by the end of this year. The circuit breaker that we are receiving from the state this year is $2,178,000, and that'll carry forward to next year's budget, but we've already planned for that in the budget as an offset. So as long as we can carry forward the full amount, we're not putting next year into jeopardy. So at this point, we're in February. Hopefully, we won't have a lot more unexpected expenses. So that's where we're at with that, and I can certainly take any questions.
Questions?
Just a comment, if you try to get something more out of DCF, whatever. See if they can something else.
I know, it's a challenge, you know, that as Ms. Fay said, there's so many things that we are required to do, and so many mandates, and what falls short is how we actually do it. Ultimately, we do. It's a lot of work with Melissa and me and Kathy and Marie, just trying to, have the students service in the best way that we can. And so it's a lot of creativity and just patching holes, really.
So I'm a numbers person, finance person, and I look at all these numbers, and they all make sense, but, and this is not your fault, trying to have it give me a picture of where we are compared to where we'd like to be, compared to where we were budgeted to be. And I guess that I struggle with the fact that much of the spending is not linear, and then the encumbrances are another thing. So by the time we get to the percentage of spending in the final column, it's, okay, sometimes it's meaningful and sometimes it's not. And I almost feel like, and I'm not feeling guilty even saying this, I'm almost feeling like I need another sheet that says, this is what I worry about, and this is why, and these are the line items in the many lines that are in one of these reports. These are the lines that cause me to be worried. So then I could look and I could say, that makes sense. But as I said, with nonlinear spending and encumbrances, we're lucky you're so good, but I feel like I just basically have to say, what are you worried about? Because I can't really figure it out looking at the numbers, which is really frustrating to me. Does that all make sense?
It does, but I think in the reports that I do each month, I do try to highlight some of the things that we are worried about. So right now, I'm worried about special ed transportation.
But where is that in the report?
So in the report, it's it's in the line items. If you look at the line item report, it is.
Do you mean where in the report is it that she says she's worried about it?
Yeah.
I think that's what he means, like,
Okay.
put an asterisk or something
Exactly.
for Jeff's
Do that.
mental,
That's easy enough.
Exactly.
mental health.
Yes, I can highlight some of these areas.
Highlighting would be,
Thank you for translating.
highlighting
I
would
know,
be wonderful.
I was like, I know what he's asking and it's not coming out right.
No, that
Thank you, April.
certainly
You're
can do
welcome.
that.
I speak non-math, so I can translate. When you don't understand numbers and you need to break it down, I got you.
Okay, so we've already, the good people out in the seats have already been patient, and especially our student reps. So let's move on unless anybody has any other questions to the superintendent's report.
All right. You have the superintendent's newsletter, and I asked first that you approve the bill and payroll warrants.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
301.
Okay, and we received a gift from the Cranberry Federal Credit Union of $250 that will go to our DECA program towards deferring the cost associated with competitions.
Great.
Motion to accept and thank them.
Amen.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? 400.
Okay, and I'm going to give you a quick update on my goals that were developed last year. It is that time of the year. I wanted to first start with the preschool program at the high school. Clearly that classroom's been established. It's running very well. We have 10 preschool students in the program. We have an additional student coming in after February vacation. There were 10, for the first semester, there were 10 high school students who were interning in the program. And after the first semester just ended, there will be 10 or 11 starting for semester 2, different students. Last week, they had a little breakfast celebration for the outgoing high school students. It was a really, really nice event. You could see the connection that the high school students made with the preschool students. I thought it was very meaningful and really was a nice event, and it was good to see that connection. And the teacher that was chosen, Rachel, she's fantastic. So the program is running well. We've actually started talking about a second class. I don't know when that will happen, but that needs to happen down the road. But it's really a great program, and I'm glad we're able to do it. The second is the EMT certificate program. We have currently 8 students in that program. It's a full-year program. You must be a senior. We decided to have it to be seniors because in order to take the EMT test at the end of the course, you must be 18 years of age. We limited it to seniors. Originally, there were about double that number of students, 16. However, 8 dropped because it's much more rigorous than many students anticipated it to be. So that'll be communicated to students going forward.
I think I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that too. So that program is running well, and we'll have those 8 students being taking the test, hopefully passing, and being certified EMTs. And the next round of students are registering for that program. The third goal was the McDuffie Education Center. Dr. Chandler gave you a nice update on the PASS program, which is utilizing that building at night. The town generously gave us $200,000 for upgrades to the building. There's been new floors put in. The outside stairs and decking has been upgraded. There's been all new technology. We're going to be doing some roof repairs and some additional work on that building. During the day, we're going to begin some family counseling and play groups in the building, so that it'll be utilized during the day. And we have, I've started the discussions with Scott around transitioning the TLC programs at the high school over during the day. That comes with a cost, and which makes it really challenging in this, financial situation that we have.
I assume you mean an operational cost, not a capital cost.
Yes, an operational cost. That's exactly right. But that, we have the building back. It's been upgraded. It's being utilized. And I think that's the next step that we really need to take, and not to lose that as we go forward.
But I guess what I'm hearing you say is incorporating it into next year's budget may be problematic.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
And finally was the resharpening and refocusing the student learning goals. We actually discussed this today at our admin meeting, and we'll be including our student growth percentages in teacher evaluations that teach in the areas where there is SGP, and also as part of goals going forward. So I think that's going to be truly beneficial to the district also.
I forget, does NUIA have the equivalent of an SGP?
NUIA has student growth, yes, it does have student
Does.
growth, yes.
So is it your position, Tracy, your position, that we could include the equivalent of NUIA SGP as part of the evaluation process?
You could. I think you could include NUIA as achievement and growth, just like an MCAS.
It just seems only fair.
Yeah, and NUIA is set up so that it's by class. So by class, by teacher, by grade, by
Right.
school, you know, so it's definitely.
Just a thought.
It's definitely good feedback.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, Rachel. Miss Rachel.
You did it again.
Did it again. April.
My alter ego that I've been called my whole life.
Who is Rachel?
I don't know, but whoever she is must get a lot of my mail because it's one name I've been
That's so
mistakenly
funny.
called since birth.
Okay,
So,
April, take it away.
So Policy Review Subcommittee met in January, and we went over the following policies, so I'm going to go through them one by one for us to vote. The first was on emergency closings, and this policy, everything was reviewed by the superintendent and by Fields and Grounds, and this policy was voted to accept as is with no necessary changes at this time. So I'd take a motion to accept the emergency closings policy as is.
Move approval.
Second.
No. Do I have a move to approve?
Yes.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 400.
Okay, the second policy was the emergency health procedures. Again, this was gone over by the superintendent, and he made sure to touch base with all of the school nurses, and this one was also moved to accept as is.
I do have a question about that.
Yes.
So I was surprised to read that they base it on guidelines from 2013.
We did ask, that's the one thing I always ask, and you can ask Matt, because it's probably the
No, I
bane of his
believe you. I was
existence.
just
Anyone who's
surprised.
on this committee with me, I always make sure that any of the dates for either the Mass General or the last time they were updated, and that was the last time that, on a state level, that was updated, so that's the most recent that we had.
All right. Doesn't that seem like
It
it would have
does,
been
yeah.
updated
He knows
in the
to
last
check, because I
13
ask him
years?
every time.
Lice have been around a long time.
Yeah.
But
And for like, from a cosmetologist standpoint, the terminal and the stuff that's gone on, and for head lice has not changed
Oh, I'm
either.
not talking about lice. I'm talking about, it says
No, I know you're not.
that
Most
will
of-
adhere to the clinical guidelines for school nurses,
Yeah.
copyright 2013.
I'll
But if
double
that's-
check that, just,
Okay,
Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Second.
Second.
I'll call that April's. But it was close.
You can give it to Roger. He can
Right,
have
give it
the
to Roger?
second. He
Okay,
can have
Roger
it.
was the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 400. Thank
Okay,
you.
the next policy was emergency plans, which again was reviewed by the superintendent and the principals, and I want to say he touched base with the town emergency management on this, and there was voting for no change to this, and all of the legal references have been double-checked to make sure that they're
I'm
correct.
sure they have.
My question is on item 6, about at the end of it, where it says about, provided the school committee may opt out of instruction in CPR. I don't understand why are we, that even a,
You get to opt out if you don't want to learn CPR. As a coach, I don't get to opt out, but you do.
Yeah, I believe it's just the writing that we got from, that's just been in the policy about, because there are, I guess, some districts that can opt out. It wasn't anything that was raised as a concern by anyone on the committee, so it was just to proceed with the language that was first introduced from MASC.
We've never been offered CPR training as school committee members.
Which would be cool if our EMT class could offer that to the school committee as like a bonus.
You never know when you might need it.
That's so true.
I live with a
At my
lifeguard,
age.
so I'm good. Dylan got his from Waterwiz. Like 90% of the kids in town. You've worked at Waterwiz.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I take a motion to accept this policy as written.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
Okay, so the next policy was the bullying prevention policy. And I believe this one was also fairly recently updated in recent years. I think we adopted it in 2023. It just is one that needed to be checked sooner. But everything in it was double checked and it was voted to go through as is. So if not, I would take a motion to accept it as written.
So, I read this, and this is why I'm glad that Priscilla has had the opportunity, the time, I should say more accurately, to stay with us this evening. Bullying, harassment, all of us have taken the required course, which is, I think, every 2 years.
The ethics.
Yes, and it includes bullying and harassment in it. And as a coach, as a tennis official, we constantly hear about examples of what you can and cannot do, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm wondering how successful this policy is, because it's one thing to have a whole bunch of words about what you can't do. For example, bullying is prohibited on school grounds, on property adjacent to the school grounds, at school-sponsored or school-related activities, at functions or programs, whether on or off school grounds, at school bus stops. By the way, I was bullied as a kid at a school bus stop. On school buses or other vehicles owned or leased or used by the school district. And finally, through the use of technology or electronic device owned or leased or used by the school district. But then on top of that, you can't even bully someone when you're just at home online. So I'm wondering how successful we are. Do you hear anything from your fellow students about bullying and harassing and hazing and all that kind of stuff?
Not usually. I think it's pretty good.
Not usually pretty good says there's some examples that you're aware of.
There's not like bullying. Like there's the typical like kids who are like mean sometimes, but like there's no scenario I can think of where it's like specific people calling out specific people
On a regular basis.
Yeah, from what I've seen.
So if there are cliques, they're not negative cliques.
Yeah, I think everybody has like their place and their friends, and there aren't really conflicts that I've seen. And if there is, administration usually has heard about it and will talk to the students.
So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that our wonderful administration is still here.
Run!
Is there anybody in administration would like to come forward to the mic and talk about bullying, hazing, et cetera, in their schools and whether it's a problem, whether this policy is meaningful?
I can say, I don't know if anyone wants to come up, but
No,
I can
Dan
say-
stood up, so.
Sure. Our administration addresses, complaints immediately and take action based on the handbooks. And we're good at addressing it. I mean, is everything perfect? No, but we do address it head on. Absolutely. Whether it's on the bus, whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's at recess, whatever the situation.
And you're confident, for example, that the coaching-player relationships are all good? Ed doesn't talk to you or Scott about problems like related to that?
No, he does not.
Because I constantly hear about them in the news,
Right.
There are enough evil coaches out there that, it only takes a small percentage to make the news. Thank you, Dan, I appreciate it.
Sure. Just quickly, our school council meets regularly with the teacher advisor, and the teacher advisor actually met with her because I wanted to do something with the students. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry about that. So our student advisor teacher, she meets with the student council on a regular basis, and so I wanted to meet with her to just set up a meeting with the students as well. And her report to me was kind of shocking on some level. She stated that she's been doing this for a number of years, so probably about 3 years at least, and she said every year the topic of bullying is usually like first thing on the kids' list to talk about. As far as an issue within the district, within the building. And she said this year was the first year that she didn't hear anything from them about bullying. But she did bring it up with them. She was like, so once they kind of came up, brainstormed a bunch of different ideas and topics that they could discuss and address, she brought it up herself. And so she asked the students in the student council how they feel about it. They said there's occasional some students who are bad kids, how they described it.
A little mean, as Priscilla said.
What's that?
A little mean
Right,
occasionally.
a little mean occasionally, but they said overall doesn't seem to be an issue. So just from a child's perspective, at least.
Well, that's great feedback. I appreciate it.
That's really great to hear. It's not what I expected you to say.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's why it was
So
shocking.
that's great, yeah.
The pattern has been broken.
Well, not completely, but it's a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Well, as long as we're taking it seriously. All right, anything else on this policy?
So just a motion to accept as written.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve? Roger, a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
And then the last policy that we went over was the governing use of and building use application. So this is for our fields and grounds. This is the only policy where there was some changes added, which you'll see highlighted in yellow. There were some updates that school-related or school-sanctioned events take priority and precedence over the use of. And so the deadline dates for that, we adjusted a little bit because a lot of the teachers with the school calendar are trying to we set the calendar so much more in advance than some of the outside uses. So there is a slightly different deadline for school-sanctioned building use and outside organizations for their use for the building. And then that individuals that don't, and organizations don't abide by our rules and regulations, including our hazing and bullying policy, are subject to suspension of their use of any of our buildings for any time. And then all of those laws were added to, so that they were in the same place, so they were included in the policy for quicker reference, so that no one could say that they didn't know or see where the policy was if they are in violation of it. And then again, just added how many number of custodians would be needed and any exclusions, just kind of a line item for that. And then updated where it said business manager to director of food service or their designee for use of if the cafeteria staffing is needed. So those were the changes highlighted by Dr. DeAndrea when we reviewed this policy. And again, this is mostly for people like the Tigers, JBA, other organizations that want to utilize, and they do pay to use it. So it is a service that does benefit the district and helps bridge the community when we do allow community groups to use our buildings. So it was just kind of streamlining the process and just making sure that people know if they're not following our district policies that they could lose that privilege.
And I noticed they pay in advance.
Yes.
And that's enforced by whom?
So I remember when I had to submit building use for when I was coaching for the Tigers, it depended on the building. So like if I was using the middle school gym, I would submit it to the middle school principal.
So it's not Eric, the facilities director.
No, it would go by the building principal, and then I think if there was any conflict or issue, I think it would go up to Matt or maybe facilities from there, but I don't know, I think it goes by building unless it's, I think unless it's the Spillane Field, I don't know if that was separate.
It goes to the building
principal, their custodians, and then it goes to the superintendent, and then it goes to Eric.
And the payment goes into some kind of revolver?
Yes, the use of the school rental revolving fund, use of school property.
Questions? So this falls into the category of a nitpick. On understaffing requirements,
Which page is that? Just so
it doesn't have a page number. I was looking to see if I could find a page number. There's a page that has category number 1, 2. This is all relating to building use.
One with the blue highlights on it.
Okay.
You have highlighted the.
No, it's the next page.
You've highlighted the Director of Food Services instead of the business manager, okay? Since that is an individual person, we can't say their designee.
I'll let him know that we'll change his suggestion. I'll change it.
Thank you. So I will take a motion to approve as amended.
You did say it was a nitpick, so.
Yes,
that.
I did. Okay.
And the superintendent did question that.
And you're saying he was right.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank
it's
you, Matt.
correct.
I
It's
appreciate the
correct.
fact that you also were mildly annoyed by it. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve as amended.
So move. Second.
Okay, that's Roger and April.
You got it.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
And then policy review meets again next week, so we will have more to update. We have 2 more meetings, I believe, this school year.
Okay, and you're fully, you have all the members you need?
I do. I have a great policy review, and I'm very thankful for
And
them.
your attendance is better than 95%?
My attendance is almost, I think we're at almost 100%.
Always meet a quorum.
Yep. It's pretty good.
Okay, is there any other information that someone would like to bring before the committee? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The town posted the spring meeting today, February 5th. The submission of warrant articles closes on February 23rd. Our next meeting is February 26th. We need to vote to submit our McKinney-Vento warrant article. So this seems to me like an extraordinary circumstance, but I would like you to consider that vote. And I can give you the language that you would vote and the number.
I'd say you've made it extremely easy and helpful, so go for it.
Okay, so it would be a warrant article to see if the town will vote to approve the transfer of McKinney-Vento revenue of 76,000.
That would be delightful.
I know, wouldn't it? 76,169 into our revolving account.
Got it.
Motion to accept as stated by the superintendent.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you know what that is, Roger, the McKinney-Vento?
No. Homeless transportation.
It's the reimbursement that we get from the state. So when Kristen talks about how much we have to pay for out-of-district tuition or transportation costs for the homeless student population, we get some reimbursement back, but they send it to the town, so then we have to go to town meeting and ask for them to give it back to us. It's foolish. I'm working on it with MASC to try to make this a more streamlined process, because that drives me bananas, but that's basically what it boils down to.
Got it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That's good timing. Just FYI, we will have, is that the only warrant article we have in the spring?
Oh, you wanted to do one as well.
Did you want to do the park scholarship?
I shouldn't need to, because it's actually a town-wide impact. And I have spoken to Derek within the last 2 weeks. We were talking about the cherry sheet, and I reminded him that he needed to pick the language. So this has to do with the prudent investor language so that we can invest. In our case, we care about it because of the Park Scholarship. In his case, he will be able to invest town monies with more flexibility, I guess is the right way of expressing it. So I hope I've nudged him enough to make sure it's there, okay? But it doesn't need, and we will, of course, support it, and if necessary, I'll stand up at town meeting and tell people why it's important, but I don't think we need to vote on it. Is that, would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, because it has town-wide implications that are actually larger than ours, even though we care about it for a very specific reason. Okay,
Can I,
yes.
before you, so we had talked, we skipped over class sizes. We said we were
On the
going
agenda for the 29th.
Oh,
6th, sorry.
okay, sorry. I knew we were skipping over the high school. I didn't know we were skipping over the other two, which
We're
is,
not-
which is
yes,
fine.
yes.
It's fine. Just Scott sent us his list in anticipation of the conversation
will,
being tonight.
yes.
No, he did.
No,
Oh, he did?
emailed in the middle
Yeah.
of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
He did.
In the middle of the meeting, he sent it.
He did.
Okay.
So, could we ask that the other reports or would they anyway, if they were part of that meeting packet, get sent to us ahead of time?
Oh, get sent.
I don't know if I'm looking at Jamie or at you, but
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
you, yes,
yes.
yes.
I agree completely, and I assumed they would.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and I just have one other request. So I so appreciate all the information that the principals include, and I think we've talked about this before, and we said we didn't want to make any more work for them, and nobody wants to do that. But you all come in with prepared, a report, and I would love to see that ahead of time. It would be so helpful. I'm looking at Dan, and I'm not trying to, and maybe you just make a template for them and make it easy. And again, no, I think it was Tracy Cote last year who told me she didn't want to make any more work for the principals, which I totally get. I'm not trying to do that, but it would be helpful if we were able to see that ahead of time.
We'll work on it.
Yeah,
We
okay.
also had before, like, 4 bulleted point, I mean, it's just, the principals don't want to do it.
I understand that, and that's why I don't want to.
We had like 4 bulleted points, because it gets to a point where it's like, so if you knew exactly what you wanted, I think every time it would be a lot easier.
Right, so that's why if Matt works on a template,
Very simple template.
yes.
We did have a very simple template last year, so maybe we can, and I think we've gone way over the edge of that.
Yeah.
John is not happy. You're not in front of a mic.
Well, maybe as a former principal, Tracy, you can work with Matt and come up with a,
Yes, I think that would help everyone.
yes.
And then I think at one point.
Is the mic on?
At one point, yeah.
I go to bed like 2 hours ago. But at one point, we were, putting that in a chart, and I think we were sending it. So I
Yeah.
think that just helps keep us all on the right
Yeah,
path.
for everyone, yes.
Yes.
Again.
Agreed.
Not trying to create any more work for anyone. Yes. All right,
Motion-
thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we're adjourned. Priscilla, thank you for staying.